I did just swing there with the Blight Speaker, by the way, because it's equivalent damage. Tap land slowing us down. Oh, you know what? I should have searched up a second Sergeant because next turn I'll be able to do 2 3s, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So we really should search up a second Sergeant so I can apply double pressure. Yeah. Yeah, I should really do that. I mean, what we're doing is this is perfectly Pauper legal. What's happening on this board state? Mind games. There's nothing, you know. The correct play is to not attack with the speakers, but it doesn't really matter. You just have to remember to ping. Like, if the board state were stalling out, that's exactly what the game plan I would move to, is just ping them. And the black version of the Rebel deck allows you to do that. Use the Blight Speakers. Fox says it's because he has Justice. You think he's drawn into it? Right, I mean, if you wanted to beat Justice, we would have needed to tutor up all the bigger fat, or all the creatures with a bigger butt, and we'd have to be main decking the Censor. We're not. If you want to have a better game against Teachings, you'll need the Censor. Alright, so take 2 more. So we want a 3 and a 4. Got it. And that's another nice thing about Blight Speaker. You can choose whether you're tutoring or whether you're draining. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7. It's close. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so I'm leading back a 3 and a 4. I think is exactly what I'm doing. Still don't see how he wouldn't have played it there. He definitely would have played it. I mean, we can rebuild. We should save some pingers because of that reason. Unless you want to play out a bunch of Rift Watchers because they don't die to the Evankar's Justice. We still have that option, right? Like, if he does Evankar's, I can put one of the remaining Rift Watchers just into play to continue having the pressure. Rift Watcher being one of the few that doesn't die to something like Justice. And we have other ways to play around Justice. Like I said, you know, we'll board that in. Maybe we should be running one main, one side. I don't know. No, Terran. Unless he's gonna cast it, buy it back, and cast it again, which he doesn't have the mana for. Yeah, we win. Why are you guys all so worried? Like, in response, I would drain, I would consider going tutor. Well, not tutor here because all the things that she can tutor for would die to the Justice, but you would ping tutor for the 3rd Rift Watcher. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he only used one counter spell. His hand may have been just full of counter magic that didn't matter. Our deck kind of does this neat thing where it makes a lot of their counter magic really irrelevant. By the way, we are missing the... I knew we were missing something. We're missing the maps. That's huge. Dresses seem decent here. Samsonite. Do you want dust? Do you want ring? Probably just ring. Probably just ring. We're going to cut down on bounds. Maybe just even one. Only maybe one tapper. Zealot is not that great. Unless you want the shadow. Don't need pro red. We'll still use glider. Why didn't I get glider? Well, we'll certainly use it here. Why the hell did we think to get the glider? That whole game, actually, I just tutored off Sergeant. I don't think I used an activation of any of the bigger ones at all. I want dust, something for his talismans. I mean, Oblivion Ring also handles the talismans. Use ring for curse. I don't even know if we need to fight over those things. The talismans? Why? You want me to bring in the dust? I don't really care to fight over them. You want me to fight over them? I mean, again, this isn't really a match for the playset of Riftwatcher either. They're nice, they're resilient. Can he even, like, remove Nightwing? He'd have to, like, bounce her. That's funny. What if we just gave that creature pro blue somehow, like an aura? Wouldn't that just, like, automatically win this particular matchup? Just give this thing, like, out of the board, give it, like, protection from blue. Talisman was how he was just staying ahead. Ring for sure. Do you want the dust to dust? This isn't an option, by the way. It has to exile 2 artifacts if they're legal targets, by the way. So I don't know if that's smart. Let's go. Let's just run rings. Isn't that how dust works? I don't think, unless the Oracle text is different from how the card reads. Don't even bother with dust, it won't hit tome. Right, I think it's Oblivion Ring or nothing. I would keep this. You know what's nice is I don't feel like we're going to mulligan a lot of hands. Like, if the hand has like a tutor or two, I'm in. This has 3 tutors. Creature tutors. Like, I'm in. Have I considered blessing? No, I haven't. I haven't, Behemoth. That was sweet. This time we'll have to definitely consider tutoring for the protection. I think you lead Lieutenant, actually. Because next turn, instead of tutoring immediately with Sergeant, I think I'd like to go duress into something else. I also just value the Sergeant more than the Lieutenant. Talisman. Didn't draw it, though. Oh, Moto, I want to get in that damage. Why did it skip over my attack phase? Oh well. Thank goodness it's just practice mode. Sweet lord. That would have been very sad. Let's continue to play around the echoing. Right, let's keep doing a split. Or, I mean, you can start duressing. I like to apply a little more pressure, though. I think I'm going to go Falcon. Right, I mean, there aren't really many Anthem effects I've noticed in Pauper. I did a little research. There are anthems that affect the bottom half of the creature, like Power Pet. Power Pet's neat because it's instant speed, if you need it to be. If you want it to stick around, you have to cast at sorcery speed. This is already a teachings. Yeah, okay. Oh no, I'm familiar with Blessing Clockwork. Blessing is sweet. Yeah, Blessing is an option. Protect your tutor creature. Alright, there's the cutters. There's a shrivel. Still standing. I mean, you know he's going to board these in if they're not already main deck. Another lieutenant. Again, do you want to get blown up by the other card, though? I don't think so. Let's go with the scout now that he's spent the sweeper. Isn't Pauper strange? He calls Shrivel a sweeper. It's just a weird format, man. It's just a weird format. Run Shimano's Blessing. Heimer, I would run the instant speed protection. I would run, well, it's not here. It may have been in my other version. I would run, before I run that, man, I would run the instant speed one, which is Ward of Lights. White, basically an instant speed protection aura. Just like the other card I described, it's actually from the same set, I think. You can use it instant speed. Terran says it isn't that weird. Boiling Earth would be a sweeper in standard too. Guess I'm used to 1-2 Deathrite Shamans. This is true. Oh man. Woo! Tragic. His bottleneck seems to be black mana. The black mana. He decided not to counter the mana that I need so very much. I did. I did need it. I did. Again, we could shave on the bound and silences, by the way. Since they're tutorable, you don't necessarily need a playset in the full 75. It is one of our more powerful things that we can do. One of the more, excuse me, let me say that more, yeah. It is one of the more powerful things that we could be doing. There we go, we got it out. I'm going to go Lieutenant Lightspeaker, actually. Or you could have gone Duress there. Depends on what you want to do. For example, he wasn't ready to cast the other teachings. One of these turns, the Duress is going to sequence really nicely. Just you wait. I also may want to use the Duress should we draw the Oblivion Ring before we go for the Curse. And just go Duress into Oblivion Ring. Sometimes against these decks that draw and see so very many cards, it's best to time your Duress for an important, like something that you really need to resolve, basically. Alright, Justice. Looks like Justice to me. Black, sure, yep. But he didn't buy it back. Yeah, he thinks that's good enough. Whew. I mean, again, I have 2 threats to deploy, so I don't know if we still... Do we need to deploy the Duress? We may never see the Oblivion Ring, is a reason to consider Duressing. Got a Lieutenant. Then Duress. Alright, Santa's just teachings. Shrivel me this. Terrence says just play all the creatures. I did. But I took his second shrivel. We'll rebuild. We'll rebuild. And Curse of the Bloody Tome is a relatively slow clock, you know? What, divide 37 into 3, right? So we've got over 10 turns to win this, you know? Certainly, I'll do my best to continue to pressure my opponent. What's interesting, and I think part of the credence or part of what makes something like Modern Teachings, albeit the metagame's too quick for what Teachings used to be in something like Modern, it was a very fun deck to play. Certainly has lost a lot of its luster and strength as of late. I think a lot of that has to do with